My name's Joe. I'm just an ordinary office worker. I haven't made much headway in my career, now at 41, but I have an irreplaceable family. I met my wife, Amy, 15 years ago, and we got married. This year, our eldest daughter, Emily, is in 5th grade, and our son, Ethan, is in 3rd grade. I've been living a happy life, blessed with children. But suddenly, I was thrown into the abyss. It all started with a call from my manager, Keith. "Joe, I need you to go out of state for a bit to acquire some new clients. Can you handle it?" He asked me to go on a business trip for about 2 weeks. "Sure, no problem. Sorry to always ask you, especially with kids at home. Thanks, I appreciate it." After getting home, I told Amy about the business trip. Then, turning to my kids, I nervously asked, "So, I'll bring back some souvenirs. What would you like?" Ethan looked up at me, slightly puzzled. It felt awkward. When was the last time I really talked with my kids? "Emily, what about you? Anything you want?" I asked her, but she just replied, "Whatever," without even looking at me, her eyes fixed on the television. Lately, she's been a bit rebellious, and I can't help but sigh. "So, you're back in 2 weeks, right?" "Yeah." Amy strangely insisted on knowing the exact dates of my business trip. At that time, I just thought it was typical housewife stuff and didn't think much of it. But a week later, I would know the reason behind her behavior. The business meetings went smoother than expected, and I finished the contract earlier than planned, so I reported this to Keith. "Great, so come on back now. The rest of the time, consider it a vacation," Keith said, and I headed home with a spring in my step. Of course, I was carrying souvenirs I had promised for my family. Wondering if everyone would be happy, my heart swelled with anticipation as I stood on the platform at the transfer station, and then I saw Amy. "Hey, isn't that you, Amy?" I called out and ran toward her, waving. Thinking she might be shopping, I was surprised when she looked shocked to see me. I was puzzled by her reaction when I noticed a man standing next to her, previously hidden by the crowd. My eyes widened. She was arm in arm with a young man. "Hey, Amy, what are you doing here?" I shouted, confused. But she retorted, "Wait, you're supposed to be back next week. Why didn't you tell me?" Angered, I turned my frustration towards the young man beside her. "Don't mess with me. Stealing someone's wife." I was about to confront him when Amy stepped between us, saying, "It's not Ken's fault." The name of Amy's lover seemed to be Ken, but that didn't matter to me. Seeing them both carrying large bags, it was clear they were planning a trip. When I realized this, I was stunned. "You mean to tell me you left the kids alone?" When I said that, she, either defiant or amused, suddenly started laughing. "They're old enough to stay home alone now." "What do you mean?" Then, with a sharp look in her eyes, she coldly said, "I know because, unlike you, I've always been the one taking care of the kids, as if to spite me." Feeling an indescribable pressure, I was taken aback, and she smiled satisfactorily, saying, "I'm not going back to that house anymore," and left with Ken, laughing. From the time I ran into my wife to her departure, everything happened so fast, I couldn't keep up. It felt like a bad dream. It was as if I was bewitched. But when I got home, I was speechless. The house was overflowing with empty snack and convenience store meal containers, and the trash can was full. Then, in a corner of the room, I found Emily and Ethan lying on the floor. "Hey, are you guys okay?" I rushed over to them. Seeing my face, Ethan whispered in a small voice, "Dad, I'm hungry." Emily didn't come to me for comfort, but she looked like she didn't have the energy to move. When I asked her what happened, she said Amy hadn't been home for 2 days. Amy had left them some money and told them to just eat something. But they were still kids. They impulsively spent too much at first and ran out of money, and today, they hadn't eaten anything yet. Seeing this situation, I finally accepted the awful reality that Amy had betrayed our family and gone off with another man. I immediately took the kids to a family restaurant, but I had no idea what to do next. I was always busy with work and left everything at home to Amy. I had a lot of business trips, and I hardly ever talked to the kids. Even when I tried to initiate a conversation, they both remained unnaturally tense. "Go ahead, order whatever you like, Ethan. You like omelets, right?" I said, pointing to an omelet on the menu, trying to lighten the mood, but Ethan murmured with a disappointed look, "I'm allergic to eggs." Then, Emily sighed at me and started choosing from the menu herself. Even during the meal, all my attempts to talk to them felt awkward and out of place. I know because, unlike you, I've always been the one taking care of the kids. Her spiteful words before she left with Ken kept echoing in my head. Maybe I have a lot to reflect on as a father. With that thought, I wolfed down my meal, channeling my frustration into it. From that day on, I started taking care of the kids, struggling with unfamiliar tasks like cooking, laundry, and cleaning. There was no sign of Amy coming back. She probably started a new life with that man, Ken. Still, when did she meet that guy? Thinking about it, I might not have been paying much attention to her lately. Maybe leaving everything at home led her to infidelity. Thinking this way, although cheating is absolutely unforgivable, it seems like the cause of it all lies with me. Trying to atone for my neglect, I worked hard at my job, housework, and raising the kids, but managing all of it was tough. Emily seemed relatively independent, quickly getting ready on her own, but Ethan needed to be woken up in the morning or he wouldn't get up at all. Every morning was quite a struggle. Moreover, the kids' elementary school didn't provide lunch, so I had to wake up earlier than usual to prepare their lunch boxes. The workload was significantly more than when Amy was around, and I was certainly accumulating fatigue. I wished for someone's help, but my parents had already passed away, and I didn't want to rely on my not-so-close in-laws. Of course, I thought about divorce, but couldn't decide because of the kids. Being a housewife is tough. Betrayed yet, I now painfully realize how valuable Amy was. That was what hurt the most. Then, one day the thing happened. Thinking about making dinner right after getting home, I found the lunchboxes I had prepared for Ethan and Emily on the table. Ethan's was empty, but Emily's was almost untouched. I called Emily into the room and asked her why she left it. Maybe it was the fatigue from work, but I was a bit irritated. Perhaps offended by my tone, she shouted, "Dad's lunches are all brown and embarrassing." That ticked me off. I woke up early to make it, and that's the thanks I get. "What do you mean? Don't start playing dad now." What followed was a mudslinging argument between us. We both said things we had never said before. Hearing the noise, Ethan came in with a near-tearful face, saying, "Both of you, please stop fighting." Emily ran back to her room like she was escaping and didn't come out, even after I made and served dinner. Reluctantly, Ethan and I had dinner together, and then he said to me, "She acts grown up most of the time, but she still has her kindergarten-like moments." Apparently, he had heard our argument. "Really? Yeah, she's already in 5th grade but still uses a cartoon character lunchbox." Now that he mentioned it, her lunchbox did indeed look like something a kindergartner would like. I remembered. Back when she was about to start elementary school. When we went to a nearby store to buy a lunchbox, I asked her which one she liked. She chose one with a cartoon character on it. I could picture Emily's happy face at that time. I thought she was all grown up now. She's using a new lunchbox now, but her love for cute things hadn't changed at all. I realized I still hadn't noticed these little things about her. After dinner, I started preparing for tomorrow's lunchboxes. I searched on my cell phone and decided to make cute character lunchboxes for Ethan and Emily. Honestly, they weren't exactly cute, but I managed to get the shapes right and pack them into the lunchboxes. The next day, after returning from work and thinking about washing their lunchboxes, I found them already washed and neatly drying on the sink. Then Emily came up to me and said, "Welcome back. I'm sorry about yesterday." She apologized to me. Stunned, I listened as Emily spoke in a soft voice. "Thanks for the lunch. It was really cute. And from today, Ethan and I will do the dishes. You can rest a bit, Dad." She then quickly ran back to her room. Tears welled up in my eyes. Emily and Ethan had grown up more than I had realized. Nothing could make a parent happier. I knew I had to reflect on neglecting my duties as a father. From that day, I resolved to be more involved with my children. On a weekend, a week later, I made a suggestion to the kids. "How about we go to the nearby park tomorrow, Sunday, and play catch? We'll bring lunch too." Catch? Emily made a face like it was a hassle, but Ethan was excited. "Yeah, catch. Sounds great, let's do it, sis." He convinced her, and she reluctantly agreed to my proposal. Then, the next day, under a clear blue sky, we threw the ball around. I was surprised at how fast Ethan could throw. He's got quite an arm. He's going to be in 4th grade next year, and I'm thinking of getting him into some kind of club soon. Emily, on the other hand, seemed to struggle a bit with sports. Most of her throws were bouncing to me. But even if she's not good at sports, there must be many other areas where she can shine. Playing catch made me feel like we truly connected. I spread a sheet on the ground and opened the lunchboxes. Wow, amazing. Ethan's eyes sparkled as he looked at the meatballs and omelet. "Pretty cool, huh? Emily helped me with this part, right, Emily?" When I said that, she showed a slightly embarrassed expression. Ethan, eating the omelet Emily made, exclaimed, "Wow, delicious." I didn't miss her shy smile at his reaction. "I'm so happy," I muttered quietly, so the kids wouldn't hear. Ever since Amy left, I've rediscovered the warmth of being a family. Still, I wonder what she is doing now. I found myself thinking about her. But if she said she's not coming back, there's nothing I can do. I've been planning to file for divorce soon. However, one day, the doorbell suddenly rang. When I opened the door, I was shocked to see Amy standing there. "Amy," I blurted out, and Emily and Ethan came out of the room. They were just as stunned to see their mother, who was supposed to have left. "It's been a while." Amy said this with a smile lifting the corners of her mouth. Her expression appeared to be one of self-mockery. She then told me that she had been dumped by that young man, Ken. Amy and Ken had met on a dating app. I never would have dreamed that my wife, who couldn't even use a computer, was using such a modern site. But in the end, she felt foolish and humiliated, admitting to me that she was just toyed with by a younger man. I didn't feel any pity for her. If there is such a thing as what goes around comes around, then Amy had just received her due punishment. Either way, it didn't matter to me. "Is that all you have to say? Sorry, but I plan to file a divorce next week. Please, don't involve yourself with us anymore." I tried to dismiss Amy indifferently. But at my words, Amy's eyes widened and she glared at me as if infuriated. "Fine. It's not like I want to get back with you now, but listen." Then Amy made a shocking statement. She yelled at me, demanding, "I will take care of the kids." Naturally, I refused, telling her not to joke around, but that's when her anger reached its peak. "You've always been focused on your work, neglecting us. It's all because you never acted like a father. You never helped with housework or parenting. How can you raise the kids? If we're divorcing, I'll take the kids and you pay child support." Amy ranted at me. I thought it was an incredibly selfish defense, but I couldn't deny that I hadn't taken care of the kids before, leaving me speechless. I don't want to be separated from my children. But above all, I want to prioritize Ethan and Emily's happiness. Would it be better for them to be with their mother? As I remained silent, Amy seemed pleased, twisting her lips into a smile. Kids need their mother after all. Come on, let's live together again, she called out to them in a gentle voice. But then, something unexpected happened. I hate Mom. I want to be with Dad. Ethan suddenly burst into tears. Amy was visibly confused by this response she hadn't anticipated. Why, let's live with Mom again, Amy said with a trembling voice, but then Emily declared, I never want to live with Mom again, in clear words. Then Emily revealed something shocking. Mom, I won't let you forget. You always left us at home, brought your lover home while Dad was away, and even tried to make Ethan call him Dad. Tears were overflowing in Emily's eyes. They were tears that seemed painful to speak through. I was shocked and immediately confronted Amy. You did that in front of the kids. It's not, that was. Amy tried to make excuses, but I could never forgive her. However, my anger was alleviated by the children inside the house. Mom, just leave. I want to play catch with Dad again, Ethan shouted, and then Emily, with a trembling voice, added, We'll live as a family of 3. Mom, please leave by yourself, as tears kept dripping down her cheeks. Amy stood there in a daze, looking deeply hurt by the children's words. Eventually, with a look of dejection, she dropped her shoulders and left without saying anything. I immediately rushed to the kids. They continued to cry. Their tears might also have been from the guilt of driving their own mother away. I hugged them and resolved once again to raise the kids by myself. Months later, on Father's Day, I received a portrait from the kids for the first time. The picture had "Thank you for always" written on it. Ethan's drawing was adorable, but I was amazed at how good Emily's was. For a moment, I thought it had been drawn by a professional cartoonist. I want to do drawing as a job in the future. I'm still not good at it yet, though, Emily said. She shared her precious dream with me. I told her, you can definitely make it, and supported her dream. I plan to treasure this picture I received from Ethan and Emily for a lifetime. And I want to continue watching over their growth, right by their side.